recommendation by National Judicial Council to promote 11 justices to the Supreme Court seems an indication that the federal government is heeding to yearnings of the citizens. Before now, only 10 justices of the Apex Court have been battling to dispense the bulky outstanding cases waiting to be dispensed. Correspondent Nabuchi Okenabuchi in this report takes a look at the impact of the recommendations and existing challenges, negating smooth operation of the third arm of government. The details. Section 230 of the 1999 Constitution established the Supreme Court of Nigeria and prescribed that 20 jurists will work to attend to the highest and final stages of judiciary matters in the country. Since then, the Apex Court has been asking that number of judges to do their assignments. But with the retirement and death of some of the jurists, vacancy at the Apex Court became inimical to the country's jurisprudence, creating vacuum among jobs for the highest court. Call after call, Nigerians continue to complain about the imbalance in the Apex Court, saying such is delaying dispensation of cases and depriving some ethnic groups of their sense of belonging in the court. Having heard the complaints, the National Judicial Council, whose duty it is to nominate and recommend occupants of position in the judiciary to the President, sat and picked 11 more judges to complement the efforts of the existing 10, who were almost overwhelmed by the barrage of outstanding suits and cases from all sections of the country.
His lawsuit retirement today has further depleted our ranks and opened a yearning gap that will have to be filled. With him leaving us today after the retirement of Honorable Justice Adamu Anuma Augi a few weeks ago, we are now left with just 10 justices on the Supreme Court bench, being the lowest we have ever had in contemporary history of the court. Of integrity, morality, and good behavior, which is said for others. In a situation where a judge decides the case wrongly out of motive, he shares the fate of the litigant public and by extension the whole society. Such a judge.
Knowing is no doubt a very concerning situation that must be holistically addressed if we are to get the best of our Supreme Court and indeed their lordships. We must begin to develop innovative solutions towards enhancing the working capacity of the Supreme Court, cutting down on the number of appeals that get to this honorable court, implementing critical judicial reforms, as well as adopting alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. I am aware that the process of filling the vacancies for the justices of Supreme Court has begun.
But the gap and insufficiency of judges at the Apex Court was created by some criteria set by the manager of the judiciary sector. From the federal character principle to political interference, the number of service years and the number of cases dispensed, the Apex are to wait for these criteria to be met by qualifying judges before they are appointed. Despite the gap and time it takes to get qualified jurists for appointment into the Supreme Court, Nigerians believe that merit must be considered before judges are appointed. They are also advising those in charge not to wait until judges die or retire before they can appoint new ones to replace them.
The federal character implies that there is quota system for either at the state level or regional level. And within the past few months, some regions were not represented, and that created the shortages of judges in the Supreme Court. This morning, the media has it that 11 new Supreme Court judges have been appointed now or have been nominated to be approved by the president.
This lacuna is a child of necessity. It doesn't come always. So it's the situation on ground that brings up that. Now you can see that the present government is trying to fill up the vacant seats, which they've done. So they are doing the right thing. So the most important thing, sometimes death, retirement So if it's in the process, that of retirement, you can say we should work ahead and make sure that somebody is always standby. But the issue of death, how do you know that somebody who is a Supreme Court judge is about to die? We don't have right to that.
Others do not see the gap created by the few members of the court's judges as challenging. They blame lack of vision as responsible for the shortages in the first place, while asking that the government always think ahead to ensure that the right things are done at all times in all sectors. To mitigate the gap always created by retirement and death of judges, it is advised that the NJC should incorporate other judicial bodies such as the Nigerian Bar Association, the Judicial Institute and others into the selection and recommendation of justices for deployment to the Supreme Court. That way, the vacant seats would be occupied on time.
To do better, it's simple. Nothing is that difficult to do in Nigeria. We don't have a problem. The problem we have is just lack of vision as a nation. And for us to have betterment in that side, it's for the judges, that is the system itself, they should allow the system to produce its own head, not a head placed from outside for it.
Yes, it's their statutory job, but what are we advised? They can quote some other bodies that, like NBA, like other bodies of judiciaries to it, but it shouldn't be a so determinants of who appoints the judges. So other bodies can be involved.
Not a body that has to do with recommendation. The body is to recommend, and the recommendations are not just ordinary recommendations we see. Whenever a judge, even if your name attempts to be in the final list of those that will be appointed, if you're found wanting or there's a petition against you, I think definitely your names will actually be brought down. Several judges have actually been taken down in such situations, and so therefore these bodies, the only thing we owe as Nigerians is actually checkmate these bodies if they're actually doing the right thing.
There is no doubt that the court needs to have a full complement of judges to perform maximally. A study conducted by one of the notable law firms in the country, championed by Barrister Ngozi Olehi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, showed that due to challenges such as vacant seat, it may take up to 200 years to dispense all the pending suits in the country. Analysts say government must adopt friendly approaches, including timely appointment of judges, to aid quick dispensation of justice in the country.